This is it. My last delivery. After this run, I'm finally getting transferred to an office position back on Earth. The desk. Regular hours. Weekends. Holidays. I've been waiting for this transfer for 6 years. 6 years of hauling mysterious cargo across half the galaxy for a company that treats its pilots like disposable machine parts. Management sits in comfortable offices talking about efficiency. Meanwhile, I'm flying through electrical storms toward a planet most sane people avoid. For minimum pilot pay, passenger and tourism pilots make several times more than I do. They have schedules, predictability, families. I've got emergency rations and life insurance paperwork. Our company has constant turnover. People come, people quit. Sometimes people disappear. The stress gets to everyone eventually. I've had 3 different supervisors in the last 2 years alone. Half the time management changes faster than company policy. Every new boss arrives promising improvements. 6 months later they're gone, and nothing changes except the wording in the employee handbook. Take the guy who worked this route before me. This was supposed to be his last delivery too. Same promotion, same transfer to an office job. He never came back. Officially, management claims he had problems with stimulants. That's their story. I don't believe it. I think something happened to him on this cursed planet. But investigating would cost money. Bad publicity would cost money. Higher insurance rates would definitely cost money. So somebody probably buried the whole thing. That's how corporations work. If a problem costs more to solve than to hide, somebody usually chooses to hide it. The planet below me has a reputation. Everybody calls it the planet of 100-year wars. Long ago, this was a thriving human colony. Cities, factories, mines, everything was going well. Then miners dug too deep. The insects came out of underground tunnels and resource shafts. They poured onto the surface by the millions. Humans fought for generations and lost. My great-grandmother was among the last evacuation convoys leaving this world. She used to tell stories about endless fires on the horizon and entire towns disappearing overnight. She always said the insects weren't scary because they were intelligent. They were scary because they acted like a force of nature, like a flood or a hurricane. You couldn't negotiate with them. You couldn't reason with them. You could only run. Most people thought the story ended there. It didn't. Humanity returned with android armies. The robots were supposed to eliminate the insects. Instead, they started a second war. A century later, robots and insects are still fighting, neither side willing to quit. Eventually, the androids got tired of human politicians and corporate managers. They built their own state, their own government, their own economy. Despite that, they still trade with humanity. They buy lubricants, spare parts, industrial equipment, and weapons. In return, they export valuable minerals from the old human mining systems. There have always been rumors that our government bribes robot officials to secure favorable trade deals. Every investigation ends the same way. No evidence. Case closed. Personally, I don't even understand how somebody bribes a robot. The whole thing sounds absurd. Then again, I've spent enough time working for large organizations to know that absurd things happen every day. I've seen procurement departments spend 6 months arguing over coffee machines while approving billion credit projects in a single afternoon. Compared to that, bribing robots almost sounds normal. As for my cargo, the instructions are unusually specific. Deliver personally to the Robot King. Direct handoff only. No middlemen. No warehouse. No representatives. Straight into the King's hands. That's rarely a good sign. The more expensive the shipment, the less anyone wants to explain what's actually inside the package. Nobody told me what's in the case. Nobody told me why the King wants it. And honestly, I've learned not to ask questions. Questions create paperwork. Paperwork creates meetings. Meetings create more questions. And somehow you're still the one blamed when things go wrong. Considering what happened to the previous courier, maybe he got lost. Maybe he delivered to the wrong place. Maybe he accidentally drove into an insect hive instead of a robot fortress. That's the kind of mistake a courier only makes once. Anyway, the castle should be just ahead. One final delivery, one final storm, one final encounter with whatever madness this planet still has left. And if everything goes according to plan, the most dangerous thing I'll be dealing with next month is a broken office printer.
Stop right there. Move 1 inch and I'll put you down. Identify yourself. State your purpose. Do you have authorization?
Easy, easy. Don't shoot. I'm a courier from Earth. I've got a delivery for your king. Direct handoff. I've got my credentials and shipping authorization right here.
Come on, that's your direction. Welcome to the planet of robots. Free from colonizers. We've thrown off the shackles of your colonization and live in a free world.
Well, here we are, the Royal Palace. At least that's what the robots call it now. Back during the colonial era, this place was the Regional Administration Building, a government office full of bureaucrats, accountants, and tax collectors. Honestly, that's scary enough by itself. Then the insect war started. Humans lost the building, took it back, lost it again, took it back again. For decades this place changed hands between humans and insects. Then the robots arrived. They captured it too. And unlike everyone else, they've managed to keep it. You can still see every war layered on top of the last one. Human rifles, alien weapons, military helmets, rusty swords, knight armor standing in dark corners like ghosts. Every hallway feels like a museum dedicated to 100 years of killing. And now all that's left are skeletons, empty shells, and enough weapons to start another war. Which is probably happening somewhere on this planet right now. Of course, nobody at headquarters talks about any of this. To them, this is just delivery route 47B. Fuel costs, transit times. Meanwhile, I'm walking through a haunted fortress built on top of a century of massacres carrying a package nobody will explain. Amazing what corporate paperwork can make sound normal. Anyway, the king's chamber should be just ahead. Let's get this over with.
So, a courier from Earth. You traveled a long way to reach my kingdom.
Your Majesty, I've got a delivery addressed to you personally. Direct handoff only. Company policy. If you could accept the package and sign for it, I'd appreciate it.
Humans still require signatures. After all these centuries?
Trust me, if I come back without one, my supervisor will treat it like a national security incident.
A fascinating species. There, your paperwork is complete.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
One moment. These are for you. A delivery bonus. Our minds produce more than we currently require. Consider them a gratuity.
Well, that went better than expected. Nobody shot me, nobody tried to eat me, and I didn't accidentally wander into an insect hive. By the standards of this planet, that's a remarkably successful workday. You know, sometimes I catch myself thinking that the robots are becoming more and more like humans. The strange part is they're moving in the right direction. The king was polite, professional, paid on time, even gave me a tip. Meanwhile, most human executives I've met would rather eject themselves into space than voluntarily hand out a bonus. Turns out the terrifying robot monarch ruling a war-torn planet is easier to deal with than middle management. Who would have guessed? And the best part, the king just handed me a burlap sack full of diamonds for delivering what appears to be a vintage handheld gaming console. A toy. A very expensive toy, apparently. I don't know exactly what these diamonds are worth, but I'm starting to suspect the answer is more money than I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, they might be worth more than the entire company I work for. Which is funny. 6 years of risking my life for a paycheck barely large enough to justify the danger. And one delivery changes everything. Assuming I survive the trip home, I may never have to work another day in my life. So now the question is, what do I do with all of it? Invest it? Buy a house? Buy an island? Maybe start my own courier company. That would be poetic. Then I could sit in a comfortable office while somebody else flies through storms delivering mysterious packages to robot kings. No, forget that. I've suffered enough. Maybe I'll just buy a desk, a chair, and spend the rest of my life enjoying weekends. That sounds a lot safer and a lot smarter.